Political leader of the NTA, Gary Griffith, joins me this morning. I want to say a very special good morning to you, Mr. Griffith, and thanks, as always, for the time. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
You know, Gary, I want to say that we will definitely get into our political discussion, but I cannot ignore what's on the front page of The Guardian this morning. In bold blue, it says, "Spotlight on Gary, retired officer, files suit against the state accusing you, Gary, former top cop, of abuse of power." And it goes on to speak about you asking the individual to bring all the different investigations that he was dealing with, and he's claiming victimization and different claims here in the article. I find the timing of this rather curious. I want to find out your particular take on this very, very hot development.
Sure, good morning again. But thankfully, again, I represent that bridge constituency, those persons with the intellectual ability to pick sense from nonsense. And you said it, but the headline is excellent. Well done to CNC3. That is exactly what it's going to be. The spotlight is going to be on Gary throughout this election campaign. What Gary and the NTA decides to do and how they operate and how they perform decides the outcome of the election. We have seen it of these third parties, what they have done, whether it was general elections of 1981, 86, 91, 2001, 2007, 2010. The third party decides the outcome of the election. Would Gary Griffith have the capability to win St. Joseph and it could become 2021? And then Gary may need to make a decision based on moral and spiritual values. It remains to be seen. Would the NTA become similar to what the COP did in 2007? That caused the annihilation of the UNC, we don't know. So what is the spotlight is definitely going to be on Gary Griffith. We have seen Jack Warner as a third party annihilating the UNC in their safest seat. That's like PNM losing Laventille. So what the spotlight is going to be on Gary Griffith. So as it pertains to this situation, it is quite comical. You hit the nail on the head. It is not coincidental that this man had a concern for 4 years and it pops up just a month before a general election. I asked the country, notice who his attorneys are. It is as plain as day. It is the color is as clear as yellow. It is all a blatant lie. There's absolutely not a shred of evidence to justify his baseless accusations. And again, if anyone wants to question the ethics of Gary Griffith, this was a man who actually, I swore an oath in office that I actually arrested and charged my own family member without tipping. I could have tipped her off. That is the person I am. I will arrest my own family member if I have to. I am not going to cover up for anybody. Whilst at the same time, I stood to my oath in office and I'm not going to allow, I did not allow any police officer to abuse his authority.
Gary, the claims are very vivid here, you know. The litigation speaks to abuse of power on your behalf, exerting undue influence in several high-profile investigations involving current and former government officials. He goes on to talk about victimization when you ordered him to bring all the investigations he was working on and to submit this list. You wanted this submission. So it kind of echoes, Gary. And again, you know, you would have defended lots of this over the years, but lots of your most vocal critics also echo these particular claims. Do you think this could go anywhere via the litigation? And are you going to, well, I guess, what's the process now? You have to go answer in court to these claims? What's the next process?
But this is going nowhere. This was done deliberately by the hierarchy of the UNC, and you'll hear probably them speaking on the platform. That is how the UNC operates. Remember, it was when I was removed from office, remember previously the UNC abstained from being commissioner. When I could not remain in office was because Anand Ramlogan and Jayanti, a UNC senator, they are the ones who took it to court to state that I couldn't remain as a commissioner because the president foolishly forgot to forward the merit list. That is how the UNC operates. When they get into panic mode, they go into court process. But when you look at my standard, I was the one who cleared Kamla Prasad Bisesa and Munilal from email gate because I was transparent. I cleared Kamla Prasad Bisesa from the plant-like substance. I don't care whether you're red or yellow. I look at right or wrong and I look at the evidence. This matter here with this individual, I ask any citizen to believe, how could somebody be so mad to believe that you are a police officer and you must not report to anyone? This person was investigating a senior government official, and he said, I don't have to report to you. I don't have to tell you anything about it. That is mad people behavior. So if he wasn't reporting to me, who was he really reporting to and taking instructions from? Because in law enforcement, you must report to someone. So when you're doing an investigation, the commissioner must have an update. And that is why when I said as commissioner, I intend to clear all gates. We had all these gates being open, and I intended to clear it. I cleared email gate, I cleared the plant-like substance. The Marley McDonald situation, you are doing an investigation, you say, I don't have to tell you as the commissioner. He's also a liar when he said that I stated that it will bring down the government. I don't care. That is not my point. Also, when you look at the situation with Camille Robinson-Regis, he said it was 99% complete. Well, if he's so sure, I challenge him today, make a public statement to say that he knows Camille Robinson-Regis broke the law. Because after it was handed over, other officers did a comprehensive investigation and there was no finding of evidence to justify the matter could have gone further. This is the same individual with an investigation on ACP Wendell Lucas with damning allegations again. That's what he does. He makes a report on allegations. When we checked it, it was investigated, there was nothing. And this poor guy lost his position being a DCP. What I would like the country to do, I would like to be polygraphed with Mr. Dookie. And the questions are simple. Have you used your position to influence any investigation to target political opponents? And or have you used your position to target senior police officers? This individual was also involved in a major investigation pertaining to conspiracy to bring down a commissioner of police. We have sworn witness statements about it. So with all of this that's going on, understand that this is going to be the election season where the hierarchy of the UNC will do everything in their power. This is why, notice 4 years this happened and now he decides to bring this up without a shred of evidence. So this is going to die a quiet death come April 29th because there's no evidence whatsoever. But if he feels there is, let him play man and say that he knows Camille Robinson-Regis broke the law and let Camille Robinson-Regis deal with him. That has nothing to do with me.
So I would imagine all this, I guess, could be summed up to the noise that comes around a political campaign. And as we step into the politics, we're looking at St. Joseph. There's a very interesting article inside The Guardian today speaking to that said constituency that is very critical in the election, very close one indeed, and that's the constituency. You're putting your name and brand under the umbrella of the NTA. What's your take on this particular constituency where many are suggesting parts of Mongdo seem to be, the polling divisions there seem to lean towards the PNM. You have, of course, Arang West that seems to lean towards UNC, and then you have everything in between tossing up. NT really feels strong and positive about stepping into this St. Joseph seat?
Well, it is unfortunate that our media, they don't do polls. The last time we did any national poll was Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police, where there was 79% national support, the highest national support of any public servant in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Would that support resonate to me as a politician? It remains to be seen. Walking through Aranguez on Saturday, CNC3, they were there, and 100% of persons in every single car, you'd have seen it on CNC3, said they were voting and supporting me. If that could only resonate to become actual votes, well, then PNM and UNC will lose their deposit. But I know it doesn't work like that. The fact of the matter is that I have the capability to walk anywhere in this country and get that degree of respect because of how I stood in ensuring the rights of citizens, their rights will not be infringed. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar can't go left or right of Grand Bazaar. And so I am very confident that I have the capability to show to the country that I am impartial. As a Commissioner of Police, I ensure that no police officer could abuse their authority to target political opponents, whilst at the same time not covering up for political opponents. That's how I am. That's how I operate. So as I said, Jack Warner proved that a third party can win. Jack Warner defeated the UNC in their safest seat. As I said, that's similar to the PNM losing Laventille. So if it is that we do win St. Joseph, it can very well become 2021. And with that, then it goes to a situation of what the NT decides to who will be part of government. So even though we may not have 21 seats, if we have the capability as a third party to win a couple of seats, we can actually be part of the next government or dictate the concept of who would be in the next government.
Yeah, because again, there are certain sure shots for both PNM and UNC. That is a given. And I would imagine NT and all the new parties will have to be in it, will have to be in this political experience for the long haul. But when we consider Arang St. Joseph, Tunapuna, some are even suggesting to Toco, grandees, some suggesting, well, of course, we're looking at the Tobago scenario too. That could be a toss-up. I guess that's your game plan. You're looking to more or less probably capture one or two realistically and use that as the bargaining tool, as it were, if indeed there is a tie. That seems to be, is that the strategy going into this election cycle, Gary?
Yeah, definitely. So we would be the ones that could be the deciding factor to decide who will be the next government. But the more important thing is that we will be part of the next government. And if it is that the country buys into the fact that the NTA has the policies, the persons, and the political will and the ideologies to ensure that there can be good governance. So we are not spending so much time with trying to expose the shortcomings of the PNM. I think the vast majority of the country have accepted that the PNM did not perform over the last 5 years, maybe over the last 10 years. So they want a choice. And the choice may very well be between the UNC alliance and the NTA, that we are also part of an alliance. And how in God's name can anyone want to be part of supporting a government where you have an individual who the UNC contracted to say the most disgusting, nastiest things about people? I wish to take this opportunity to thank each and every person as well who has provided tremendous support, well wishes to my family based on the situation that my wife is going through right now. The media as well. Almost every arm in the media has contacted us. The previous Prime Minister, the sitting Prime Minister, and 17 government ministers have also done the same. Nicole was a senator in the UNC government. And other than Dave Tanku, not one of the 25 members of parliament in the UNC has contacted us. It is amazing, but it says a lot about the character of people. It speaks about humanity. It speaks about being humane. It speaks about class. So when you bring in somebody like Philip Alexander that will attack my wife based on her ailment, attack my children, say the nastiest things about people, say that the PNM should all burn similar to their member of parliament, refer to people as canal conk and latrine rats, how could anyone in their right mind vote for a UNC alliance? So my job is to show the country we are not going into the gutter. We are not going into that gutter politics. We are going to show we can transform Trinidad and Tobago.
How many candidates so far under the NTA are fielded? How many are stepping in? Are you going for the full 41 or is it just strategic constituencies? Just let me just get the game plan.
That was the problem with the Congress of the People in 2007. We spread it out a little too far. And yes, the Congress of the People acquired 148,000 votes, which can be roughly 3,500 votes per constituency. And that caused us to be just only to get win seats in St. Joseph, St. Augustine, and so forth. So we have selected 12 or so strategic seats that we believe will give us a very good chance and opportunity, because we're not going in there just for the sake of going in there. There are other parties such as Hope, the CRN, so they'll also be bringing candidates. We're also speaking with other political parties. So we still have time. So when I think at the end of the day, it will be about 14 or 15 seats we will be contesting. And as I said, if we win one or two, we can, it happened with a country in the Caribbean decades ago. So we can very well be that deciding factor. What political parties will do is to demonize us, discredit us, speak the total nonsense to say that you're going to split the vote. There's no such thing as a split vote, citizens. Your vote belongs to you. It does not belong to any other political party. Political parties have actually stolen our color. They have become that desperate. Wearing blue. After 36 years, you're wearing one color. All of a sudden, you understand that blue God loves you. So you're going to get a lot of nastiness, bitterness, attacks. We are not going down that road. We are going to show the same way I was able to transform probably seen as the most corrupt and failed arm of the public service. It turned into being the most successful and light arm in the public service, that being the TTPS, from 14 to 59%. After I left, it is 8%. We will do the same for every single arm in the public sector through systems of ensuring good transparency, accountability, and measuring performance. We are not going down that manifesto of empty promises saying we're going to build roads and hospitals and so forth, and not explaining to the public how we intend to get the income to deal with it. That's what the manifesto is, empty promises. We are given a roadmap towards transformation to show that we have the ethics, the capability, the principles, and the management to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place.
Well, I'm seeing that PNM would have done their launch at Woodford Square last Sunday. UNC, they're going to launch tonight. When is the NTA's grand launch, when you'll present your candidates? And in what format you're going to do it?
We have been presenting our candidates constantly. We had our major launch. We started in St. Joseph with several hundred people attending. And with that...
And what went on there, Gary, with the signage that caused... because I know Karen Nunes Teixeira, she would have decided to leave Hope. There was this talk of some kind of signage with some flag issue. She was in the program with me last week. She said it's more than that. But what really transpired down there to cause this falling out, as it were?
Well, no, she's not a member of the NTA, so that is, I will drink my water and mind my business. There was a joint meeting. The NTA, we do our homework. We put up all our flags and banners and so forth hours in advance. She turned up. She didn't see Hope. Hope didn't have theirs up. But Hope has to put up their banners and their flags. That's not our business. So she was upset. But she's our deputy political leader. So she needs to explain why it is they didn't put it up. What we did as a team player, I realized Hope did not have the personnel to assist in getting it done. So after we actually put up their banners and flags and so forth for them, that's what a team, that's how we operate. So whatever problem she had with Hope, I don't know, 2 dozen, I doesn't know and I doesn't care. Not my business. We are working with Hope. I wish her well wherever she is. But we are trying to focus on, you would have seen, I actually walked in Scorpion yesterday in Carnage, and they said it was the first time they've seen a political leader, a previous Minister of National Security and Commissioner of Police ever up in that area. That's what I intend to do. I intend to walk the length and breadth of this country, especially in the areas, to show to the country we intend to make ourselves accessible, not just up until 20th of April, but throughout.
But as you mentioned, Carnage, that's Diego Martin West, and I know Marsha Walker is going up under the NTA banner. She would have had issues with you in the past, and she said recently that she saw a change in you, Gary, and that's why she decided to leave where she was, leave the other place to come across the NTA. Walk me through that particular healing, as it were, and the trust and faith you have in Marsha Walker. You think she stands a chance to take that seat?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, Philip Alexander said he was going into Martin West for about 2 years. As soon as Marsha Walker turned up, I never see a man run so fast from someone, because he knows Katil would be booked. So Marsha Walker, I think, again, people need to understand my character as a commissioner of police is different to that of a political leader. I will operate in a different manner as a commissioner of police, and if I have conflicts with persons, politicians even, that is my job. I was not there to make friends with persons. As a political leader and a politician, it's a different ballgame. So I have to change my style and personality. If it is that one day after election, I may decide to go back into law enforcement, you're going to see a different hat of Gary Griffith. If the country ever wants to see Gary Griffith back in law enforcement, you know which party not to vote for, which is the UNC. The UNC abstained from me as Commissioner of Police. The UNC brought in their attorneys to have me removed as Commissioner of Police. And the UNC now have their attorneys using Mr. Dookie to try to smear my name with lies. So we know when it comes to Gary Griffith and law enforcement, the UNC is afraid of that. Because, there are political parties who are really fronting, there are criminal units fronting as political parties, and they will have a problem with Gary Griffith. I am not going to entertain having any negotiation with any political party who may be involved in giving major contracts to gangs, persons who may be very good attorneys that will get them released immediately as I arrest them, or even romantically involved in them. With them. So my style will be totally different. If you want to be safe, if you want to be secure, if you want to make Toronto be safe again, you go in the blue. That's the NTA blue. If it is that you want to go in another direction, you go in the fake blue.
Let me ask you, as we look to wrap things up, I know you had the meeting, we saw it there via the news cycle in St. Joseph, but in terms of another major meeting, could you tell us date, time, and more so if you would bring some of the manifesto offerings via that meeting when we get a chance to meet all the candidates again?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll be having, I think, 4 major meetings every Wednesday. The campaign manager, who is still, even though she is home, she's still running the campaign well. I think she's the best campaign manager in the country. That person is Nicole Griffith. She has a structure. We have it planned. We are not one of those political parties that have $150 million because of major contracts we gave to previous persons, and now it's payback time. We are very, very, we have to be very controlled in how we spend. What we intend to do is to go out there as much as possible to show to the country, you make the choice. Blindly voting a PNM till I die, or UNC till I die, or born a UNC and I will die, UNC is not going to help. So what it is you need to do is look at the options, look at the choices, and make the choice to see that which political party has the capability. Remember, Gary Griffith has been the only person in public office that made himself fully accessible to the country 24/7. That is the same way I tend to operate. I think the country needs accessibility. They don't want empty promises of laptops and free school books and hospitals, and then you're not saying how you're getting the income for it. We intend to be genuine. We intend to be sincere. We intend to be honest, which is something different to the dictionary of Trinidad and Tobago politicians. But you're going to see it from me. You will see me walking a lot, even in my short pants, because I do have the best legs of all politicians in this country. And we intend to have a clean campaign. Let other parties continue to smear us, say what you want. We are not going to go down that road.
Mr. Griffith, a sincere thanks for joining us this morning. Keep us posted, and we wish you the best going into the election cycle.
Thank you.